start. Suggestions have, however, been made to the Election Commission that a chief electoral officer appointed under the present system might find himself to be too much under the control of the state government and that he might not sometimes be free to act independently in his capacity as the chief electoral officer, particularly in respect of matters which have a direct or indirect bearing on questions involving a political complexion or implication. It has been represented that there is a risk of his acting as a mere mouthpiece of the state government in such matters and of the commission being deprived of the benefit of dispassionate and independent advice as also of objective reports which the chief electoral officer might feel himself debarred from tendering in the present scheme of things. The Commission is not unmindful of this risk and in fact has at times felt that some chief electoral officers may not have always been able to express themselves freely in controversial matters. It is quite possible, however, to minimize such a risk by adopting a suitable procedure in dealing with such matters. The Commission has already taken steps to ensure that the Chief Electoral Officer no longer acts or is even regarded as a limb of the state government, but that in regard to his statutory duties, he may act more and more as an independent authority under the direct control of the Election Commission. So far as he has to utilize the state government and act as a liaison officer between the state government and the commission has always insisted that the chief electoral officer must be given an adequate secretariat status in the state government, e.g., that of a secretary, joint secretary, or deputy secretary. Without such a status, he cannot deal with the subordinate officials with the authority of the government and would have to go up to the department concerned in every little matter in which a government order is considered necessary. There would perhaps be technical difficulties in giving an officer imported from outside a secretariat status in the state government, in which case he would in the end prove ineffective in practice. The Commission does not accordingly consider it necessary in the present circumstances to depart from the present practice of appointing an officer of the state government as the chief electoral officer, and this practice should be followed. An effective answer to the criticism labeled against the present system would be to divide the duties and functions of a chief electoral officer into two distinct categories, which electoral and administrative, and to demarcate the two categories as clearly as possible. In respect of electoral matters, the Chief Electoral Officer would be required to correspond and deal with the Commission directly without the necessity of obtaining any prior concurrence of the state government. The state government need not, in fact, be troubled with any of such matters with which it would not be directly concerned if it is felt desirable or necessary that the state government's views should also be available to the Commission. Copies of the correspondence between the Commission and the Chief Electoral Officer would be communicated to the Chief Secretary to the state government for the purpose. In respect of all administrative matters, however, the Chief Electoral Officer would function in full consultation with and with the concurrence of the state government. In fact, this procedure has already been brought into operation and has been working satisfactorily. In the light of the experience gained during the last 8 years, the Commission has come to the conclusion that the Chief Electoral Officer of a state should be a senior officer of the state government, preferably with the status of a joint secretary at least, except for a year or so during the general elections. There is no objection to his being a part-time officer, but in every such case, a junior whole-time officer should invariably be made available to him as his deputy. The Commission has noticed that many part-time chief electoral officers find it difficult, in view of their other preoccupations, to undertake tours to the districts, and this inevitably results in the loss of an effective touch between the chief electoral officers on the one hand and the district officers and the other election officers in the districts on the other. Experience has also shown that occasional, if not frequent, inspections of election offices in the district headquarters and the subdivisions have a statutory effect in toning up the efficiency and removing the working defects of these offices. Such inspections also afford a very valuable opportunity to the local election officers to apprise the chief electoral officer and through him the election commission of the practical difficulties, if any. Full stop.